Hello, my name is Niels Pflaeging. In this video, I want to talk about books on time, about the topic of time. I have done other videos about recommending books related to time, but they were more about time and organizations, time and management, time and work specifically. These five books I will be talking about today, they are a bit more for the general interest reader. They are books that everyone should read, so to speak. They are different in style, different in age, different in depth, and I think they are amazing. Over the last months, at least since developing time-oriented work systems in spring 2025, and then later developing Tost in summer 2025. I went deep into research on time, and of course, I had ignored most literature and research about time. I hadn't been very savvy in the field myself, so I had to do a lot of research to do on the topic. I was ignorant time-wise, in a way, even though I had worked with Ernst Weichselbaum on his book 5 years ago, and I had done some work around lean, etc. But still, I knew very little. So I had to buy lots of books and read lots of books about time. And these five titles I will talk about today, they stand out in I think, in being perfect for anyone who wants to get a start into the field. If you are interested in what is this time thing that Niels is talking about all the time, what is it really about? How can I enter the field of time orientation, so to speak? These five books might be for you. I will start with the most popular of the five. It's called 10 Thoughts About Time, a Philosophical Inquiry. The author is Bodil Jönsson from Sweden. Bodil Jönsson wrote this book in, I think, at the end of the 1990s. Yes, it was originally published in 1999, so it's old, 25 years, more than 25 years old. There is another paperback edition. It became an international bestseller, as the cover says, rightly so. So it is available in several languages with different cover styles, and there's a paperback edition. I have the hardcover edition in English here. 10 Thoughts About Time. It's written by a physicist from Sweden. She's retired now, Bodil Jönsson. She's the author. She does something amazing around the topic of time here. Right, she wrote a book that's really about our identity and time, about our lives and time. This is an essayistic book, consists of 10 essays, which have beautiful titles, Rhythm and Non-Rhythm being one of them, or Is There a Poodle Shortage? That's the last essay. Thinking Forward and Backward in Time. So foundational topics about time. This is for everyone to read. Since I bought it and started recommending it, to people around me, several people started to read it already. Silke is a big fan of this book. One thing you should know about the book: it is short, it is beautifully written, but sometimes the author loses herself in her topics and moves away from the topic of time, which I think is fine, but you should know it. So it goes to it's a book that goes to strange places topic wise in a few parts, but it's beautifully written. It's such a great primer about the meaning, the importance, the significance of time in our lives, for our lives, and for the work we do, and how we deal with work and identity as a whole. So this is for everyone. 10 Thoughts About Time by Bodil Jönsson. Highly recommended. By the way, a physicist writing about philosophy, excellent stuff. So this is was like a side project for the author 25 years ago. Here's another, if you are more interested in hardcore philosophy, if you want to go deeper into philosophy and time, this is something for you: A Brief History of the Philosophy of Time by an American, Adrian Barden, an academic, a real philosopher, and this is kind of hardcore. So this is abstract stuff. If you like the abstract stuff, if you like hardcore, if you like the stuff about the history of time-related insight that we have, of course, Adrian Barden, he goes into physics as well, the interrelationship between physics, sociology, and philosophy. This is something for you if you are not shy to go deep. It has some illustrations in it. It is well written, well researched, really foundational. Einstein and the lot appear in this book. This is something for you if you are into science and philosophy. The next book I would like to recommend is by a German expert on time who became British. She now lives in Wales, if I'm not mistaken, a retired academic by now. Barbara Adam. Barbara Adam wrote several books on time. She is probably the most distinguished worldwide and in history, the most distinguished author on time. She published, I'm not sure how many books, maybe 10, 12 books on time. This is possibly her most popular book on time, on the sociology of time. Barbara Adams is a sociologist, and this is called Time Watch, the social analysis of time. I think you will only get it used. This is a used copy as well. Barbara Adams, Time Watch, the social analysis of time. Now, Barbara Adams, as I said, she is a real expert on time and sociology. She wrote several books, some more academic, more abstract than others. She later she wrote a book entirely about, let's say, ecology, environmentalism of time, and protection of the earth in time. This one here, Time Watch, is from the mid 90s, from 1995. I picked it among the several books that I have of her. I picked this one because I think it has a great scope. Yeah, this is a book that really talks about our relationship with time over the course of history, the sociological insights that we have gathered around time. It is super well informed, very to the point. It has a certain style to it, I think, beautifully. It has a certain journalistic quality, but it's still a book noticeably by an academic for the informed reader. So Barbara Time Watch, the social analysis of time, highly recommended if you want to get into the sociological aspects of time and also work. Now we come to another American author, well known, maybe the most famous author from my list today, title number 4, by Jeremy Rifkin. Well known, let's say, futurist, trend expert. This is a book that Jeremy Rifkin wrote relatively early on, but not too early on in his career, from the 1990s as well. It's called Time Wars, the primary conflict in human history. Time Wars by Jeremy Rifkin. Most of you will know Jeremy Rifkin from other best-selling books. He has been a very accomplished bestseller author, of course. And this one, I had never noticed the book before a few months ago. Time Wars, I think, it surprised me. Reading it, it surprised me very positively, because I had this kind of expectation that this might be somewhat shallow or too journalistic or so on. But Time Wars has it's written with an epic quality, I would say. It's super well researched. Lots of sources appear. Lots of beautiful insights, beautiful writing in the pages. Jeremy Rifkin, I think, does a tremendous job of analyzing our relationship with time throughout history, more like a historian, really, and then analyzing where will this take us. So it's beautiful that Jeremy Rifkin describes different eras of human human societal development. From moving from the census to the use of calendars, to the use of schedules, and then to the use of programs and computers to control and structure our time. It's very interesting, very insightful. Of course, this is 30 years old. However, I think it's very contemporary. The last couple of pages maybe aren't that contemporary anymore, because Rifkin takes a look at the future, and that future that he looks at, he did that 30 years ago. But this is highly recommended. Excellent writing. So many tremendous insights. So highly recommended. Time Wars, the primary conflict in human history, by Jeremy Rifkin. And the last book in my list today is from a British author, British academic. Before I will talk about it, I should let you know that at the end of this video, I will talk about my 10 preferred time travel movies. So stay on if you want to hear about my preferences in terms of time travel movies. But here's the last title of today's list of books, The Politics of Time: Gaining Control in the Age of Uncertainty by Guy Standing. This is the newest book on my recommendation list today. This is from the year 2023, so not so far ago. The Politics of Time: Gaining Control in the Age of Uncertainty by Guy Standing, who is an academic professor working in the UK. What's interesting about this book is it's very contemporary, it's highly political. Guy Standing really clearly wrote this book for the British reader. It's very much, it looks at phenomena of time, the relationship between time and work and society. Also, he makes very contemporary recommendations of how to deal with time in our post-COVID world. So this is, as it is the newest book in this reading list, this is the one that gives you ideas about how we should deal with time and jobs. He does a marvelous critique of jobs, arguing that jobs are a trap. He has beautifully grounded and well argued reasonings here for how we should deal with work and time and liberty and democracy in the context of organizing our time and the power over our own time and other people's time. So this, in a way, is a must read for everybody interested in the time related aspects of politics and societal change. Highly recommended. Beautiful book. Guy Standing, The Politics of Time, published with Penguin. So from Bodil Jönsson from 25 years ago to this day, you have a lot of interesting reading here on today's reading list. I hope you will look into these books. Let me know what you think of them. Now I would like to talk briefly about my 10 favorite time travel movies. And of course, for this little list, I did not pick obvious movies like Terminator, Back to the Future, or Groundhog Day. My first recommendation to you, all-time favorite time travel movies, personal favorites of mine, is Time Bandits, a movie by Terry Gilliam, former Monty Python collaborator. Terry Gilliam did this. He probably produced this movie in the 1980s, I would think. Time Bandits. It's really it's like a children's movie, but it brings us pleasure as adults too. I saw it at least 5 times or 7 times. Beautiful movie about time traveling. A bunch of little time bandits exploring different times and universes. It's a fantastic movie. The second recommendation is Donnie Darko, a classic. You might have seen it, but it's kind of an indie hit, I think. Main actor is Jake Gyllenhaal in this movie, and it's really, among all the time travel movies, I think it's the one with the most physical background, the most scientific approach to time travel. Donnie Darko, wonderful movie from, I suppose, the 90s with Jake Gyllenhaal. Then, more recent movie, the third indication for you. If you haven't seen this, you have to see it. Boss Level. Boss Level. The main actors, or the most notable actors, are Naomi Watts and Frank Grillo. This is a fantastic movie, very fast paced, very surprising, incredible special effects and fight scenes and so on. And it's really just, of course, it's one of these time loop movies, which has a certain pace to it. A wonderful movie. You have to see it. Boss Level with Naomi Watts and Frank Grillo. Then a comedy, Hot Tub Time Machine with John Cusack. You cannot miss that. I've seen it many, many times. 12 Monkeys, the famous movie with Madeleine Stowe and Bruce Willis in main roles. Fantastic dystopian time travel movie. I think it's also by Terry Gilliam, right? This is the second Terry Gilliam movie in my list. Then a wonderful movie also with Jake Gyllenhaal, Source Code. If you haven't seen Source Code, it's a very dramatic kind of sci-fi movie. Then The Butterfly Effect with Ashton Kutcher. If you haven't seen that, you have to see it. Must see film. Then Deja Vu with Paula Patton and Denzel Washington. It's one of those movies I can see over and over and over again. Edge of Tomorrow is number 9 with Emily Blunt and Tom Cruise. I think it has one of the craziest stories of all times. And here's my top time travel movie of all time. It's also a time loop movie. It's called Palm Springs. You may not have seen it. It's just a few years old, maybe from 2021 or 22. Palm Springs, with actors Christian Milotti and Adam Sandberg. So, what can I say about this movie? It it's mind blowing. It's something like what Groundhog Day was for the 1980s. Palm Springs, I think, is for the 2020s. Hilarious, beautiful. It also goes deep into exploring the physics of time travel. So it's just hilarious. Watch these movies. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you also for listening in to my little movie recommendations, which are highly subjective and incomplete, of course. The most important thing from this session, please read all these books. The Politics of Time by Gary Standing, 10 Thoughts About Time by Bodil Jönsson, A Brief History of the Philosophy of Time by Adrian Barden, Time Watch, The Social Analysis of Time by Barbara Adam, and last but not least, Time Wars by Jeremy Rifkin. Thank you for listening. See you again very soon.